I'm Dylan Black. You know what? In February, Madavi hosted a PTS roundtable with great organizations involved. Let's hear more about their findings. Joining us right now, we say hello to Russ Mann, who is the senior advisor at the Vania Institute of the Family. Good to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Dylan.
Can you tell us a bit about the Vania Institute of the Family?
Yeah, the Vania Institute of the Family was formed in 1965. It's a not-for-profit charitable institution that really is focused on knowledge mobilization around families. We want to better understand family life, family strengths, how they interact with and are affected by social, economic, and environmental factors.
Okay. What was the point of this roundtable that took place?
Well, mental health in Canada, as you know, is an issue that's garnered an awful lot of attention over recent years. Post-traumatic stress affects first responders, uniformed service personnel, police, fire, ambulance, paramedics, 911 operators, and of course military and veterans. And we wanted to try and have a more coherent dialogue and bring some of the brightest minds together so that they could have a better cross-pollination and sharing of information about how to better support families of the affected post-traumatic stress members.
Could you tell us about some of the significant people who were involved in this roundtable?
You had some important leaders and thought leaders like General Romeo Dallaire. You have Ken Dryden, who has spoken and been a thought leader on mental health issues in Canada. And then organizations like Wounded Warriors Canada, a not-for-profit, really trying to do more to help address gaps in funding to support first responders. And then, of course, Mental Health Commission of Canada and other researchers, executives, and healthcare providers around the table.
Okay, so the results have just been released.
Yes.
Okay, so what were the ultimate findings here?
Oh, really, we recognize that there are challenges in families accessing mental health support, particularly when their loved one is experiencing post-traumatic stress. And we know that post-traumatic stress is not something that affects an individual, it affects the entire family. A member who's affected by post-traumatic stress doesn't leave the work at work, they bring it home. And families are really at the front line of care. We know that they'll recognize changes in behavior, changes in personality, and they'll feel like maybe something's off. They often report that they have to walk on eggshells when they're around their loved one, when they're experiencing post-traumatic stress. And so we wanted to better understand how we can marshal resources to help support the families.
Okay, so then now that the understanding is there, perhaps, I mean, what can be done to help these families?
It's a really good question. When we look at the first responder community, it's not consistent. Fortunately, the military and veteran communities have benefited from some federal programs that have helped us start to better understand how things like military family resource centers can help bring support to families of those experiencing things like post-traumatic stress. And we've tried to help connect them with the first responder community like police, fire, and ambulance so that they can better understand what are the ways that they can get creative and innovative in bringing more funding and facilitating access to support. Some other organizations that offer peer support really rely heavily on volunteers. If you've walked the walk of caring for someone with post-traumatic stress, you're going to connect better with someone else who's in that same situation. And so right here in Ottawa, police, fire, and ambulance have volunteers and have had support from their organizations to form peer support networks and to share what they learn and what they understand.
Okay, just about a minute left here. I just want to, obviously, more is going to be done. There's going to be another meeting happening in 2020.
Yes, we want to bring people together again. We want to also bring the voice of family to this because families know better than others what they need and what challenges they're facing. And we're going to look for those leading and emerging practices that can help provide better support and improve access to services.
Okay. Is the full report available to be seen?
Yes, it is. Madavi.ca has the report online. VaniaInstitute.ca also has dialogue and resources around the report as well as a link to the report.
And that's important to note that your websites have resources there where people can go. They're listening to this interview wondering, well, where can I get help? Go to the websites that you mentioned.
Yes, and if they're feeling the need for help, contact their family physician.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Russ, for being here today.
Thank you, sir.
Great work. Take care.